No, none. I had no, it weren't like a build up. I literally just went, this is what I'm going to do, and went and did it.
And then, so what happened? I mean, did you have to put money towards it? How did you advertise?
Yeah. So the idea came probably about 6 to 9 months before I actually went for it. And it come from, I remember I had a really shit day at work, and I'd gone and picked up my boyfriend. I was in tears, and I was just like, I just don't want to be here anymore. And I think I had something like 3 exams that I needed to sit in order to pass. So I literally like threw myself into that. I was like, I'm going to get these exams done, and I'm going to go and do my own thing. And sat all the exams, passed in the June, left the construction company, which I really didn't enjoy working at that time. I really like fell out of love with the job and just didn't feel satisfied, really stressed. I got signed off from work because of it twice in the space of 6 months because of stress, and ended up in hospital with like chronic illnesses. And I just knew that my health I was going through a burnout. Yeah. I was at this point where I was like, I need to do something now. But honestly, I remember thinking to myself, if I don't do something now, I don't know whether I will have a life, full stop. And that's really where I was at. And I just decided, after getting signed off for the second time, I was like, this isn't what I want. I really want to travel. I feel so fulfilled when I'm traveling and seeing different areas of the world. And I was like, this is the time. I had a little bit of money for savings to go towards my traveling, and I just went, you know what, that's going to go towards a business, and the business is going to build so I can go and travel. That was the idea.
So where do you want your business to get to?
I really want to go global.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
We're thinking big now, girl.
Yeah. I'm not, the typical like accounting person that wants to go international automatically thinks of Dubai. I don't want to go down that route. I want to be a little bit different. I want to go and set up a practice in Australia. That's really what I want to do. That's big goal. I will feel very accomplished if I can have a Ginger Books Australia over there. That would be pretty cool.
Why Australia?
It's a massive calling of mine anyway. Right. But there is a gap in the market because in Australia, they don't have the same tax system as us. Like, as an employee, we know that our tax is dealt with by our employer. In Australia, you have to submit your own self-assessment, and that's for everyone. So everybody is so they need somebody that comes in and like, this is what I want to do. But also because I'm dealing with the women founders, I also look after content creators, and there are a lot of young founders, young content creators that are now wanting that flexible remote life of being a digital nomad, working in different areas. And I'm finding a lot of people my age, young founders, are going over to Australia and trying to build a business out there as well. So there's definitely a synergy between the UK and Australia at the moment that needs to be tapped into.
It's amazing because, like I said, there is a stigma attached to accountants, all right? But you have definitely proved that stigma's gone. Yeah.
I'm just very honest, and what I know, and what I don't know, and I'm very frank about that as well. There has been questions where I'm like, I don't know the answer to that, but I will go find it out for you. And I think people appreciate it's a core value of mine. I make that very known from the start around transparency, and I think having a good relationship with your accountant does mean having them honest and transparent conversations. So I just lay it down really, and it seems to go well.
It's giving an insight to people who can trust accountants, because you know what? Not all of us are bad. And Nick has just proved that. Hi guys, welcome to another edition of Entrapreneur Insights. This week's guest, we have Nick, the ginger accountant, and it's self-explanatory. All right. What I was going to say, I was going to ask you, how did you come up with the name? And then I realized, well, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, it's ginger hair. It looks a bit deceiving in this light, but trust me, the sun today just see the orange.
So why did you choose to focus specifically? Listen, I tell you what, let's take this from the beginning.
Yeah.
How long have you been an accountant? How long you had the business for?
Sure. So I've been an accountant officially just over 2 years, like qualified level. But I've worked in finance for 7 years. As an apprentice, came in at 17, and I set up the business July 2023. So just approaching, year 2 birthday now.
Okay. Okay. So it's a young business then.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. What are you? SEMA or ACCA or AAT?
I didn't go down the chartered route. I'm AAT.
You're
I love
AAT.
my AAT family, so yeah,
Oh, all
I'm
right.
happy with that.
Okay, but I've read about that you say you just choose to specifically help females.
Yeah, I do. I do.
Why?
Um, uh, I come from a background of football. Uh,
Aha.
so there you go. So I started playing football from like really young, like 7 years old. Went and
Uh-huh.
played like Blues Academy, then played for like my local team and got into coaching. I just always had such adversity towards me as a woman. Like, you can't do that, you're a girl. I'm sorry, what the
Mm.
fuck do you mean I can't do that? Like, I'm going to prove you that I can. And I had that a lot through my football background. And then as I went through work and started in my career, I was in male dominated industries. I worked in motor trade, I worked in construction, and it felt very belittling, like the girls can't do much and we're the men and we're the ones with the qualifications and we're in this industry. And I didn't enjoy that, and I want to cultivate an environment for women where they feel comfortable, that they don't feel like they're being looked down upon, and that they can openly talk freely about such a sensitive topic like money.
Okay, okay. So hold on a minute. Let's just take this back. So because I want to know how you got into accounts, because you sound like a bubbly woman. You sound like you're full of energy, and you know the stigma attached to accountants. We're meant to be boring.
Yeah.
Trust me, I am an accountant as well. All right.
I didn't
Yeah,
know.
I know you did it. I'm SEMA, right? I'm certified.
Right.
Yeah, right. But we're meant to be boring, and we are, because we're on here. We're proof that we're not boring. Yeah. But how did you get into it? Because you say you was doing in football, construction. Or what made you get into the accounts?
So it was really my dad. My dad had a massive influence on my life. He was going to be an accountant, wanted to, like, that was his dream. But he got told in school that he wouldn't get the GCSEs he needed, so become a chef. But he was like head chef for like a dog track in the West Midlands, and he used to work with all these spreadsheets, working out like costs per like meal, product, wages, all of that sort of stuff. I used to be fascinated by it, and I'd be like, Dad, like, what's this? And he would show me all the different things and how to work this spreadsheet. And I just really lent into like the math side in school and the numbers and all of that sort of stuff. So that was really the influence as to why I got into accounting, because the idea was I was going to go to uni. I wanted to go study forensic accounting. And so it was in my head to go and do that. But I hated sixth form. And I was like, sod this, I'm going to go get an apprenticeship. And
Bingo.
the
So
journey began.
okay, so you started the accounts. What did you work for someone else, a practice or something, or did you go straight into your own business?
Industry. So I got the apprenticeship at 17, then I started off in like a small bathroom shop, and I was an apprentice there. Then I went into the motor trade, and then from there I went into construction. Then I went into engineering. I was at this engineering company for like 3 months and then left, because that's when I decided to go and do my own thing.
So what sorry, the point I was trying to make is when you say you was in these businesses, what was you doing in the business?
Yeah, so it was like scale. It was from scaled, literally from like apprentice, from up to accounts assistant, up to management accountant. So I was working on budgets and management accounts for these multi-million pound turnover companies. And yeah, that's really how I came into it. I weren't a practice accountant. I didn't really fancy going into practice. I enjoyed I always explain it like it was like a big spider web, and you got buy-in, plan, or sales, or service, like all these different departments, and always at the middle of it was always a finance team. And I just loved it. I loved seeing like all different areas of how a business actually functions, rather than just being in a practice banging out a load of tax returns.
And so then you set up your business. Did you have any clients at the time?
No, none. I had it weren't like a build up. I literally just went, this is what I'm going to do, and went and did it.
And then, so what happened? I mean,
so the idea came probably about 6 to 9 months before I actually went for it. And it come from, I remember I had a really shit day at work, and I'd gone and picked up my boyfriend. I was in tears, and I was just like, I just don't want to be here anymore. And I think I had something like 3 exams that I needed to sit. in order to pass. So I literally like threw myself into that. I was like, I'm going to get these exams done and I'm going to go and do my own thing. And sat all the exams, passed in the June, left the construction company, which I really didn't enjoy working at that time. I really like fell out of love with the job and just didn't feel satisfied, really stressed. I got signed off from work because of it twice in the space of 6 months because of stress, and ended up in hospital with like chronic illnesses. And I just knew that my health was, I was going through a burnout. Yeah, I was at this point where I was like, I need to do something now. But honestly, I remember thinking to myself, if I don't do something now, I don't know whether I will have a life. Full stop. And that's really where I was at. And I just decided after getting signed off for the second time, I was like, this isn't what I want. I really want to travel. I feel so fulfilled when I'm traveling and seeing different areas of the world. And I was like, this is the time. I had a little bit of money for savings to go towards my traveling. And I just went, you know what, that's going to go towards the business, and the business is going to build so I can go and travel. That was the idea. And no clients, nothing, went for it.
Okay. So what happened when you first got your first client? How did you feel? Your first client. And are they still with you now?
They are. Yeah,
Brilliant.
yeah. I've only ever lost 2 clients in 2 years.
Oh, well, that's positive anyway, as it is. So when you got your first client, because that's when your business is going, it's started.
Yeah.
How did you feel?
It was really, I think it was a little bit strange because I knew it was a friend anyway that had recently set up his own business. And the reason why he reached out to me is because he had the famous brown envelopes through the door from HMRC. And he was like, panic, like, shit, what do I do? And it was for a VAT bill. And he was like, but I ain't traded yet. He said, I've set up, but I ain't traded. How have I got this VAT bill? So that's where my first client come from, helping him, making sure that we could go back, file the right returns, because even if you aren't trading, you still need to file returns. So I had to go backdate all the nil date returns, appeal all the penalties. And yeah, that was client 1. And it took a while to get my second. I think it took another like 3 months after that. Because people don't just go, oh yeah, look after my money.
Yeah, indeed. What I was going to say though, you said it was a him, but you're focusing on women.
Yeah, I weren't clear at that point.
Oh, you okay? So you go, okay, so you've got your client, but he's still with you, yeah. And so you're making a transition into focusing on financial for women, yeah. And how's that going?
It's going really well. I have the split between men and women is about 70-30 on my client base now, which I'm really happy with. This is honestly, I don't discriminate towards men. I'm happy to help men. It's just my focus is on that women. And if I attract men by putting out the same message, then I'm here for it. But I've got some very good clients now that are very profitable, that are winning. Like, my main mission is to help them master their money so they can live their best life financially free, and they're achieving that. I've got people that literally just want to take out money to fix their kitchen, and they're doing that where they couldn't do that before. And it's them little wins like that snowball and cultivate into massive growth.
What are the most common financial mistakes that you find new entrepreneurs make?
The first one is not setting up under the right structure early on. And that comes from understanding what the 2 structures are, whether it's sole trade or limited, what that means. So that's one. And then there's loads of problems that come underneath that anyway, once they go down one route or the other. The second thing I would say is not separating their business and personal expenses and income. That is hugely causes so many problems, so many missed tax deductibles from that, so many just blurriness. It's just messy to go through, and it's so time consuming. So I would say that is 2. And the third one new entrepreneurs really make is overcommitting themselves to too much in terms of what they're paying out too early on, and not, instead of being careful and building a pot where they can rely back on, they go full in and just start spending.
Can you share a story with one of your clients who've gone from struggling and you've helped them financially?
Yeah, of course. It's actually one that I'm not going to go through that one at the moment. Actually, I'm going to go for another one. There's got so many that come to mind.
Yeah.
I would say the first one is a lady of mine, a client of mine who's a lady. She came to me. She's a graphic designer, and she was charging £25 an hour. And I was like, I'm sorry, you're a graphic designer. You are a sought after
Mm.
like
Yeah,
profession.
indeed.
Like you were so like the average is £45. I was like, this is not great. It's not that she weren't profitable, but she weren't making enough profit. She was paying herself £12,500 a year, and that was it. She was working a second job in order to make ends meet. And through a lot of work on her money mindset, because I do try and help people come through that mindset issue and then barriers that come up with that, we are now charging £40 an hour, which is amazing. We're still not quite at market value, but
Mm.
it's a journey and it's
Yeah.
a year in. So she's charging £40 an hour, and she is one of the ladies actually. So she's had her bathroom and her kitchen redone because I've been able to extract an extra £15,000 out of profit for dividends for her in the space of 12 months.
That's really good. No, that's really good. What tools, right, or systems do you recommend entrepreneurs to manage money?
First one is an accounting software. So they need a good accounting software. There's plenty out on the market. You've got Xero, you've got QuickBooks, you've got Free Agent, you've got loads. There's loads out there. There's one specific to industries as well, if that is required. But that is the first thing, because that is going to allow you to raise your sales invoices, track your income, process your purchases, reconcile your bank account. It does it not for you. There is work that does it, like that needs to go into maintaining it, but
Mm-hmm.
it's there and it's in one place. The second thing is a document capture system. So something that integrates into that software that you can take photos of your receipts on the go, which is super handy because we end up getting loads of receipts stashed in like the side of the car or in your purse, or like a lot of my construction guys, I just know they're all on the front of the van. They get lost. So document capture system is the second one. They're the two most important ones that you need to start off with.
Mm. And then you come into the deep end. But it saves a lot of time for you, doesn't it? Because it's all reported. You just take from the interface, and you just take it from the interface. Yeah, is that what you do?
That's essentially what I do, but I
Mm.
think it's not just for my own benefit, it's for the client's benefit as well, because there are analytical features that are now built into them softwares that let you know how much cash you due in, if you've got sales outstanding. And Xero especially has a tool that shows you your cash flow forecasting from 7 up to 90 days.
Mm-hmm.
So that's powerful. Rather than having to pull up a spreadsheet and manually type in when you know your cash is going out, it does it for you. And it's just that time saving, real time element of data that you're receiving and that you can actually make quicker decisions on as well.
Okay, Nick, where are you based?
Birmingham.
Oh, yeah, you're in Birmingham. Okay, all right, okay. Absolutely brilliant. So, do you cater for? You're not niche to a certain area. You branch out.
I do. I'm all remote, so I can serve people nationwide.
That's absolutely brilliant. What do you want to do with your business?
Are you asking like 5-year plan?
If it's a 5 year, it could be a 5 year, it could be 10 year, it could be 2 years, because you've grown from 2 years. It's only 2 years you've had your business so far, and you've grown already. So, where do you want your business to get to?
I really want to go global.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
We're thinking big now, girl.
Yeah. I'm not, the typical like accounting person that wants to go international automatically thinks of Dubai.
Mm.
I don't want to go down that route. I want to be a little bit different. I want to go and set up a practice in Australia. That's really what I want to do. That's big goal. I will feel very accomplished if I can have a Ginger Books Australia over there. That would be pretty cool.
Why Australia?
It's a massive calling of mine anyway.
Right.
But there is a gap in the market because in Australia, they don't have the same tax system as us. Like as an employee, we know that our tax is dealt with by our employer.
Mm-hmm.
In Australia, you have to submit your own self-assessment, and that's for everyone. So
Dodgy.
So they need somebody that comes in and like, this is what I want to do. But also because I'm dealing with the women founders, I also look after content creators, and there are a lot of young founders, young content creators that are now wanting that flexible remote life of being a digital nomad, working in different areas. And I'm finding a lot of people my age, young founders, are going over to Australia and trying to build a business out there as well. So there's definitely a synergy between the UK and Australia at the moment that needs to be tapped into.
Is it true that some entrepreneurs use their business account as though it was their personal account? Do you ever find that?
Yeah, I do. And I also find that they use a personal account as a business account. That's even more annoying.
And how do you get around that? How do you tell them not to do that?
It comes from just a very candid and frank conversation. It's, again, it comes down to that structure, understanding if you are a limited company, it's more detrimental than if you are a sole trader. As a limited company, the money that is held within that bank account is not yours. It is the company's money. So using it for your own funds basically means you owe the company, even though you own the company, but you owe it now money. And there's tax implications that come with that as well. So as soon as you say you're going to get hit with 33.5% of tax, it usually goes, okay, let's not do that.
Yeah. Why would someone come to you instead of using another accountant down the road? What's so special about you, Miss Ginger Accountant?
Oh, there isn't a single ginger accountant about. That's
Oh,
the one.
you're killing me, son. She's killing me, son. That's a USP in itself. I get you. I got you.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll go with that. That's more than enough. Who else is ginger an accountant? No one.
So what I was gonna say to you. So all right. So you want to deal with women? Well, you're advertising. You're putting it out there that it's women. You want to. And so, what type of organizations do you really like catering for as an accountant, or do
as in industry?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not really fussed about that. I prefer dealing with more service-based business than, say, if it was a lady owning her own fashion brand that's e-commerce. That's not really where I want to sit, but kudos to them. Keep on doing that. Happy to have conversations, but the scalability is a lot faster, and it's not where I want to sit, but service-based. So I've got, like I said, graphic designers, so professional services I sit really well with, content creators and influencers. I have a couple of ladies like that. Wellness and spas, like all your healing, your yoga instructors, all of that.
One second. Is this so that you can get the benefits from doing with your clients? Because it sounds like everything that they're doing is something that you'd be like wellness and spas.
Service stuff. I like the sound of it.
Yeah, you're smart. She's smart. It's smart. I was going to say what does living your best life mean to you?
To me, it's traveling.
Okay.
Traveling. I'm going to Bali in 6 weeks' time for 5 months, so that's my best life. But I do also know that it is very much everyone's version of success is different, and it's about understanding and getting to the goal that they want and how they want their life to look, and basically building out that plan for them, engineering it so they can achieve it.
Okay. So how do you balance your profits with purpose then? Is that traveling?
Yeah, it is. And investing in myself. I see if I grow, the business naturally grows with me as well. So that's one. And then two, yeah, traveling. Oh, I love it.
Okay, Nikki. So I met you in a coaching group, right? And you said that you want to improve yourselves. Yes. For what purpose?
Well, in order for a business to survive, you need to sell. And as I said, I come from an industry background. So I've worked in in-house finance functions and never been exposed to any form of selling. I actually had a really negative view on selling. I thought selling was sleazy. You know, when like you get the phone calls and they're trying to say something, I'm like, oh, get off my phone. Hated it. And I knew I really needed to test myself and elevate that skill in order to get business. Because as I said, it took me 3 months after winning my first client, which was a friend. So 4 months into the business to actually get my second client. And that wasn't the trajectory I wanted to go on. And I wanted to accelerate that. That's the reason why I ended up joining the coaching group.
So what have you learned from going on the coaching group?
Oh, so much. The first thing, sales is conversation. And I was putting a lot of pressure on myself to make it seem like I had made it when I hadn't. And I think just by being really honest and being authentic to me, it showed that you can be authentic and you can be yourself in a sales call, but still be very direct and have a purpose as to what you're trying to get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'd say.
So, okay. So beforehand, how did you get your clients beforehand? Or you just sat around waiting for your phone to ring?
Felt like that at times, honestly. I participated in a lot of face-to-face networking right at the start because I weren't too sure how else to. I'd heard of networking. I knew that the way I saw it is being in Birmingham, second city. I know there's big accounting firms here. How am I, small 22-year-old at the time, Nick, going to compete against these big firms? And I thought, well, I just need to get known in my area for who I am. So I literally just started going around to loads of networking events in Solihull, joined a couple of networking groups, and that's really the first 12 months of the business. But after becoming very clear on who it is I wanted to serve and where it is I'm going to find them, that's when the strategy changed and directed more towards social media.
Right. And so now what do you do?
The strategy now is personal brand. I just show up and I'm consistent with it, and it's getting inquiries in. I've been in different like coaching cohorts. I've been in a cohort through NatWest as well, and that's generated me business too. So it's just really about showing up, staying consistent, and people will notice and people will ask.
And letting them know that you are the ginger accountant.
Yeah, man.
I like this, and it's amazing because like I said, there is a stigma attached to accountants, all right. But you have definitely proved that stigma's gone. Yeah, it's non-existent with you, and I can see people gravitating to you. I know and trusting you, or trust you with what you're telling them, the advice you're giving them.
I'm just very honest, and what I know, and what I don't know, and I'm very frank about that as well. There has been questions where I'm like, I don't know the answer to that, but I will go find it out for you.
Okay.
And I think people appreciate it's a core value of mine. I make that very known from the start around transparency, and I think having a good relationship with your accountant does mean having them honest and transparent conversations. So I just lay it down really, and it seems to go well.
Oh, brilliant. My God. Please, Ginger Accountant, tell us where we can find you and how we can find you.
Of course. So you can find me on Instagram and TikTok at The Ginger Accountant, or you can find me on LinkedIn at Nick Lonsdale, MAAT.
Absolutely brilliant. Nick, it's been a pleasure talking to you today. It really has. And it's given an insight to people who can trust accountants because you know what? Not all of us are bad. And Nick has just proved that. Thank you very much for appearing on Entrepreneur Insight. I wish you all the best with your business. I really do. All right.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been amazing.
No problem. Take care of yourself, and we'll speak soon. Hold on.